Oh, hello everyone. This is a SIG scheduling meeting on 4th of September 2025. Let me share the screen. So we have many topics in the agenda today. I am not sure if we'll make it on time, but we'll try. So is everyone okay with this order of topics? Okay, if yes, then we could move to the first topic. So discuss gang scheduler.
We probably
How
have
do you
to
want to start?
watch time.
Yes, exactly. So we have to limit the time that we have per topic to discuss everything. So Heba, if you want, you could start the gang scheduling.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, there are a lot of new stuff happened since I added this to the agenda. I think Eric already have new design proposal or new proposal for the gang scheduler. So I'm not sure now if we should like go and discuss it here, or how would you like to scope the discussion during the meeting now?
So I think we have a lot of comments in the document, and I think we can let those comments go. I would start from the things that are not in the document yet. If someone has some thoughts they want to share, John.
Mine was just a meta thing, like I had put in this planning doc, like we can defer that to offline review. Like I mostly just wanted to like flag, hey, there's a lot of stuff work group device management wants to do. I don't know if there'll be capacity in the scheduling group to get approval. We don't need to talk about any of it here because there's too many things on the agenda. I'd rather focus on Eric's pieces here. So that's all.
So I think we like it's so hard to go through all the comments. It's a lot of comments right now, but I believe there are a couple of topics that we would like to just know if it's even like the possibility of having them or not, so we can start to structure or think or like imagine the APIs we are trying to achieve. And of course, the scope as well. So if we can discuss the scope for the gang scheduler that we are trying to achieve, and then discuss couple of these, like I can go through it. But what do you think? Is this okay?
Eric, I don't know.
Yeah, you want me to speak about that?
Yeah, of course. Just like there's like some what is the scope?
Okay,
let's go about that. Yeah.
The doc has a really broad scope around the API because I got advice from a couple of people in SIG architecture that like to try to look forward to make sure that we don't get stuck like right after gang scheduling and try to add other things. But I don't think we should try to build everything that's in that doc in the first round. I think the first round scope is very similar to Keth's proposal, the first proposal on 4671. So it's going to be some number of pods that are we schedule and try to make them wait at permit or someplace close to there. And maybe timeout is the deadlock breaking mechanism. So for alpha, I'm looking for something very basic just to show intent and to learn. That was my thoughts. But I try to do a lot of looking ahead just to sort of make sure we don't back into a corner. There are a lot of design options. So I was trying to I ended up at the same place as I think a lot of the existing designs are, but I just wanted to kind of do due diligence by looking at a lot of different options before committing the core path to that. I guess we're not committing with alpha, but yeah.
I have a dumb question. For gang scheduling, workload aware scheduling, like this obviously seems like pretty related to like the discussion from last North America and Europe meeting around workloads and quota reservation. I think it'd be good. I still need to like look through the documentation, so maybe it's already there, but it would be good to like see if there's like a relationship with them or if they're like two different things. But we don't need to go into detail for sure. I just want to like have like mental buckets to like sort things into. Yeah.
So yeah, it's something that I wanted to allude to. Like there is definitely a relation between. So I think that all of those things are very tightly related to each other, and this is why the Eric's doc and like all the other things that we are exploring so many different things and so many different like aspects and like and so on, not because we need them or we don't even want them like in the first version. We want to deliver something like simple, as Eric mentioned, and I fully agree with what he said. It's just the API part needs to be well thought through to ensure that whatever we do with the API for gang scheduling, we have a way to evolve it to where we believe we should go. So the resource reservation and so on, like it's effectively something that appears in those docs, not because we want to build that in Win35. It's because we need to ensure that like the way that the initial API we will be able to evolve it to like support all the use cases that each of us has on their minds. So.
Yeah, the way I thought about it was a reservation would have a pod template in it, like a workload, but it's not going to create actual running pods. It just creates, I think, what I've heard Dominic call, a pod template. It creates an empty hole for a pod. And so there's already associated objects in pod templates, right? You can refer to a resource claim object. So being able to refer to like a workload object, like this is proposed in this, is just another thing that's in the pod template that is part of a reservation object. And so to some extent, those are a little bit parallelizable work. Now there's the idea the scheduler needs to maybe hold on to resources as an internal data structure while it's like waiting to complete the gang scheduling pass. In my mind, I'd view those as probably related, but they don't have to line up perfectly at the outset. The internal versus the like public API for reservations.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, it's just useful to see like how these work streams will kind of like combine. Thanks for the explanation.
Right. I can probably add one more thing. So we were working pretty independently on Aragon gas scheduling, several people on workload hour scheduling, and both documents, the one about workload hour scheduling is not shared yet. It's still like under discussion. So they have to be somehow aligned. And we decided to share a gang scheduling proposal as soon as possible. So you will probably observe all those discussions happening in the community. So a lot of different opinion voices. The thought was that gang scheduling is something that we should deliver as soon as possible. On the other hand, we have to, and we want to make it aligned with a little bit longer vision, but this vision probably have to be materialized as soon as possible. Otherwise, it would be very hard to converge with any API decisions.
Totally agree. So let's try to agree that we will keep discussing the workload aware and all the APIs on a separate channel, but we need to be more focused on the workload API now to be able to deliver part of it at least, right? Is this like a good scope for at least 1.35?
Right. So the plan is to still continue working on in two paths. One is more about gang scheduling. The second path is about having some minimum version of the workload that is especially focused on binding, and we could say gang binding. There's a discussion whether this is the same gang for scheduling and the same gang for binding, or I'm rather suggesting the binding should be on the workload level and gangs should be somehow inside workload in the future. But we also trying to converge to something that we can deliver in 135 when we want to make some assumptions that some things are more simple. And those assumptions, unfortunately, may cause confusions, because if we think about those longer term concepts, they will be separate, but we try to put everything into one bucket, and it's not helpful.
Yeah, and this is why we're trying now to separate, like having multiple threads at the same time. So the thread that, like Eric started, this is great, and we should continue until we have, like try to focus more about the gang scheduling problem as a sub problem from the whole thing, and try to achieve an agreement on the API, then the implementation on, like this API, how to integrate it with everywhere. Is that like an appropriate scope?
Right. So we wanted to focus on API as the most important thing that we should agree on, and yeah.
Perfect. So going back to this point, I have just one comment that if we can discuss it in this meeting, that would be amazing. Otherwise, we could, like have another meeting for, like just design. I feel like the single gang for, like versus a gang group, this is really complicated, and I got confused a little bit when I see this API. So I had this idea, and I don't know if it's applicable or not, and I would like to discuss it with you, which is instead of having the pod, we just try to shift our mind away from the pod a little bit to have like the controller reference, or maybe not only the pod but the replica set instead, if we cannot address all the controller reference we have, because this is like a bigger scope. Is this possible? What is the, what do you think about this solution?
Can I share some context for
Of course.
where I was coming from my design? For the customers for the company I work for, we see a lot of interest in both job set for training and leader worker set for inference. And neither of those are built. And so both of those have two levels. Both, we have people saying we want two levels of like topology information. We want the life cycle is not subtle. It's not a single gang. And so, and they're not built from replica sets. They're built from other things. So that was kind of an implicit assumption, is that those two workloads should work well as soon as possible. So is there a way to phrase your proposal? So we should discuss if we think that's a good goal. And then if so, how can we adjust proposals so that they reach that goal?
Totally agree with you. So in that case, the replica set is not an option anymore, because it won't serve these two projects. But let's try to discuss if we can have like the controller reference instead of just a pod. And why? Because if we have the pod, we will have to address, like the pod group. So we will have like a sub CRD inside the workload API, and this is, like it will, the list of problems we will have right now.
I think an alpha that only supported job and stateful set as subgroupings, that's a direction I could see working, because it limits how many resource types the scheduler has to watch. I don't see why it's an advantage yet, but I think just trying to translate what you've said, to like, can we bring workloads in more? I think it would have to be stateful set and job would be the ones we have to bring in.
Okay, so yeah, this is good. I don't mind that. So when you say watch, I don't expect actually Kube Scheduler to watch, but it's actually to translate or to reverse back the controller reference to the workload we are trying, like we refer here. So if we have the stateful set, we will go to, like it's like a reverse engineering problem until we get to the pod that, like this workload is, like constructed off, and all these pods will be, we will just, like retrieve these pods as a set of pods we are going to, like to work towards. Is this possible? Is this, like you have, all of you have more experience in scheduling on like Kube scheduling more than me. So please advise me if this even possible or not.
I think, so, sorry, I think that because I was chatting a little bit with Heba before this meeting, like, and I think my understanding is that like what the proposal here is that we it's not to change your proposal dramatically. It's like how we match the pods with the work. So how we basically build the relation between pods and workload and the introduced workload object. And what you are proposing, Eric, is basically have a reference in the pod object that is referencing the workload. And what Heba is suggesting is that instead do it the other way around, so that the workload contains the owner, the controller reference,
Sure.
and then like
let me
exactly.
So let me say why I didn't give that option a lot of consideration. Is my understanding of how owner refs work is that you must specify a UID, and I also thought there were cases where users would want to create the workload object in a manifest because it gives them a way to specify what you call traits that are not present in the controllers. And I can't see how you can create a controller ref via a manifest created workload object. So if we can have a working session where we figure out how to get around that, I think that opens up that possibility for me. I'd be happy to we could go do a side doc or something and explore how that could work.
Yeah. From what I've seen so far in the code, having the UID is an optional. It's like a plus thing, but it's not necessary. It's not mandatory to be able to go to the owner ref. And please correct me if I'm wrong. About the trait, I get your point. I might need to dig more into this, to be able to answer. But please, Dominic, go ahead.
So what's really? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
What I like about Heba's proposal is we don't have to go get a change to pod v1 in order to make progress. So that's a very attractive thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to just, leave away all the APIs we have and introduce as minimum as much. As minimum as, list from the, new APIs.
Yeah, and I think, but I think that the main point here is that we should absolutely explore it. I don't know, maybe that's better, maybe that's not, but it's not like fundamentally changing the proposal. It's like one of the, it's changing the API, so we need to figure it out sooner than later, but it's not that it blows away the full proposal. It's just one of the small parts of the proposal that we...
No, actually, it's, a lot of investigation and a lot of trial and error and POCs I've done. I believe Eric got to the, nailed it basically, which is, we need workload API, we need reservation API, and we need to figure out how to deal, how to relate or how to connect the pod with the workload API. This is, I believe this is, the main three problems that we are trying to work around here. So Eric already, he's doing this already. What we are trying to discuss now, how we can make the, the APIs as simple as possible and, not touching or, changing the the APIs we have right now, or reuse them. Maybe, it's similar to that.
I think it's great feedback. I'll try to revise the doc to include Heba's suggestion, and I'm viewing it as also it's the most expedient way to do an alpha, and we can still revisit. Like, we're not committing to either path if we do it in alpha, right?
Yeah.
So, do we feel like, what is people's risk appetite? How certain do we feel we need to be about that API and the relationships between objects to do an alpha?
I think the advantage of this option is that like we will effectively only be experimenting with the new workload object, which will be an alpha, and it's like if we do that wrong, we will just do another alpha next cycle. If we want to change the pod, even though it technically will be like alpha field, it's still the pod API, and we really need to make that work from the very beginning. So
yeah, so when you change the pod, the V1 API, even with an alpha, like that field name can never really be used for anything else. So
neither name nor type nor
yeah, we have to be kind of careful.
Yeah.
Right, and I think we could think about having multiple pod groups as a kind of let's think about that. And if we have them, and then later we create pods which will have to match a specific pod group, it will make a difference which pod should refer to which pod group, because pod group may already allocate place for a pod. And probably at some point we will need to have this assignment between pod and a pod group which reserve a space for it.
I believe this proposal doesn't need to have pod group at all. For this proposal, yeah.
Yes, for the beginning, I think I agree with all what you said. We can try with that as first, but this is why I think we need to have also a strong opinion how we want to construct what I called scheduling constraints, but this is a collection of all the objects like pod groups, some topology constraints, resource claims, and so on, which all in total create a plan for scheduling a workload. And we need to figure out how to construct this structure. And once we have that, we will have it will be more clear how we want to reference pods probably to this structure, not necessarily to workload.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay with deferring the decision about that. Using owner ref might be a good starting point, of course, but I think we still miss some discussions and idea how to do it right.
Yeah, we can continue the discussion offline, of course, or like async. But I was trying just to eliminate the time that like going back and forth if this idea is even applicable, or like we can have it or we can try it or not. So we can just like try to find another way. But of course we can continue discussing the other options, of course. Okay.
Do we have anything else for the discussion about gang scheduling?
Looks like we don't have. So yeah, about the workload level scheduling, do you want to add anything about?
Yeah, you can.
Or we can skip it, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So now discussing the 135 backlog. Once again, Heba, want to start?
So I just have one suggestion, if you allow me. For this table, it's amazing, but if we can have another column to address who is going to review it, so it's like just split the work between the like the contributors. I've seen this already in like in different SIGs, and I feel like it's like it's a good best practice if you see it like that. So we can help each other, not like duplicating the work, or like just all of us reviewing the same KEP and ignoring the others.
Yeah, so that's a good idea. Thanks for proposing.
Well, in practice, I think we read everything. but yeah, we probably should split at least the approver.
Yeah, of course, for the workload and gang scheduling, I believe all of us, maybe a lot of other community members should, like chime in and help with the review. But other small ones, I think we can split them between us.
On the other hand, for instance, the nominated no name is kind of related to workload hour scheduling. It's our direction in how we can slowly have something even today for resource reservation and like constructing how to suggest placement, workload placement for kube scheduler. So yeah, there are a lot of things which might be also interesting.
Yeah, one more suggestion, if you allow me, about the DRA workload or the DRA backlog. I believe we as SIG scheduling need to need to review or need to know what's going on. So like we're maintaining all of this. So yeah, how about
if we have time, I'm happy to drill into that and go
Sure.
over the ones
Yeah.
that we're looking at. I didn't want to. My suggestion earlier was if we had to cut something, I'd be happy to do it offline. But if you want to click on that,
Yeah, Maciek, can you open the area?
Yeah, I will open that.
Yeah.
Eric, do you want to say something in the meantime?
I can go after we discuss DRA. I'll wait till John's done.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to do it fairly quickly, just a brief. So you see the targets 135 column there, and then a bunch of them are scheduling related. So if we focus on those, the prioritized alternatives. So this is something that's beta already, and we're going to stay in beta, but there is a significant change that this group would want to have input on. So what this does is it allows you in your resource claim to say, hey, you can satisfy this resource claim with, this option or this option or this option, and they're kind of in a priority order. But today that evaluation is done on a per node basis. So you'd look at a node and you'd say, okay, this node has A100 GPUs. I can satisfy this with one A100. This node is a fit. And then I go, and the next node, I go, this node doesn't have A100s, but it has enough L4s available so that I can satisfy it with the second request. This node's a fit. But there's no differentiation between those on the choice of which node the actual pod gets. There's no scoring. So in order to make this truly useful, we need to add a little bit of scoring. We have a bigger KEP for scoring in DRA, which we're not going to try to address. That's like much bigger scope. This will be a narrowly scoped. We want to score the node that meets the first request higher than the node that meets the second request, etc. So that's the big change there. Otherwise, it's staying basically the same. The next three, taints, intolerations, partitionable devices, resource slice mix-ins, those are kind of a little bit in the air because we have some potentially API changes. So those may do another alpha, but we would want to make sure that if we're going to do another alpha, we would get some. I don't think the scheduling aspects would be tricky. They're more like we already have. Yeah, I don't think those would be too bad, but they're likely to all do another alpha. It says beta here, but realistically, based on more recent discussions, they'll probably do another alpha for each of those. The most important one for us is the 5004 extended resource request via DRA, and Liao is owning that, and he has reviewed some, like, basically in the last cycle during the alpha, Matcha had some things that needed to be addressed during beta. So he's had a conversation with Dominic and Matcha, and I don't know if anybody else, about those items. So we're trying to iterate on that. But like, if we did nothing else, that's the one we want to get to beta. And so then the next one is node. Okay, so then the others: binding conditions, consumable capacity, reserved for workloads. All of those are, we want to do all of them, but they're a little bit lower priority. So that's roughly the priority. I mean, we could spend half an hour and go through each one in detail. I don't think that's necessary here. But just to give you a flavor, like if we're prioritizing overall, I would ask that we prioritize 5004 above anything else on this list, and then we can filter in the rest as we go. So hopefully that's helpful, at least for context.
Yes, thanks, John, for that.
I think I can point out that the reserve for workloads is actually very related to gang scheduling and workload aware. So
yeah, so we might, for those reasons, we might want to prioritize. Also, binding conditions may be useful in that context. I'm not sure.
They might be useful for binding workloads, yes.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
That's all I had to say, unless other folks have questions about it.
Since we're talking about possible proposals for the upcoming cycle, I have one more on the back burner that I can't finish until we kind of get closure on the gang scheduling. I wanted to kind of just get people's thoughts on whether there's even any capacity in the SIG for it or not. This is about, and it's kind of related, this is about providing a PDB that works for leader worker set. So it would be a PDB over groups of pods rather than individual pods. It's related to gang scheduling, but it could be done in parallel. In the past, PDB belonged kind of to SIG apps. But it certainly requires scheduling code changes. What people's thoughts are, is this SIG an approving SIG for that proposal? And is there even any possibility of bandwidth for it?
Is there any?
Yeah, like I think it would be good to have some issue on document about that. Like, I'm not sure if anyone from the community is really free to do that from the SIG scheduling, but yeah, after making an issue, maybe someone could help.
Along similar lines, I have probably one more cap that it's still in the nascent idea formation stage that will land on that list. So I know we'll have to see what people have time for.
Like, yeah, please.
So, John, coming back to DRA, I just heard that there is one priority work, like work item that you would like to add, but I wasn't clear what is the rest of priority that you would like to add to this table. So if you can help us, like decide.
Yeah, I can sort of give a ranking from the work group point of view. I'll rearrange. I think somebody asked for that yesterday during the work group meeting too. Like, I can try to, obviously it's an open source community and some people will disagree with the ranking, but at least like from those of us most involved, that would be the priority order. So I will add that in that list. Sorry, just taking a note. And, obviously we want all of it done, but,
all of us want everything done. Yeah. It would be amazing if we can have like Eric enhancement as well, and John,
yes.
Like all work items added to this table, and then we can, like see who's developing it, who's reviewing it. Do we have capacity? Are we, like going crazy? And yeah, I think that would be. Yeah, this is just a suggestion, but of course, again, it's up to you. And of course, we can use the dashboard. I remember working with the previous tech lead and scheduling to have a dashboard. So we can, in GitHub, so we can use this dashboard.
Yeah, having a dashboard would be great. Probably not for this release, but for the next. It might be possible to have that.
Yeah, it's already
so that
there.
Could maybe.
Yeah, it's already there. Yeah, it's already there. It's working. It's updated. We just need to use it. That's it. We need to, like create a new tab for each release and create our backlog over there, and that's it. This is all what we need.
Okay, so maybe we could discuss that offline.
Of course.
Very good. So yeah, that's our rough plan for 135 from the SIG scheduling perspective. There will be also a bit more caps going from the another 6. I think there is something from SIG node as well to review. So maybe it's worth adding it to the table as well. But yeah, that's that. We have many topics this release and even more than the previous one. So yeah, we have to make everything on time. Yeah, so do anyone want to add anything about the backlog for the SIG scheduling, or could we move to the next point? Okay, if no, then Dominic, we have the proposal to move the Asia Europe meeting. Yeah.
Right. We heard a request to move the Asia Europe meeting earlier, so that, for instance, 40 hours. I think this is acceptable from the Europe definitely attenders. So if it's helpful, it would be good to have mostly some votes from anyone who will suffer from this change, and also, I don't know, voices if someone supports the move. We decided to bring this topic in a few consecutive SIG scheduling meetings, so that everyone should be able to speak up. On our side, we will try to duplicate some of the topics on both meetings, so that you could attend only one of them. But of course, it will never look like work perfectly. We definitely will have some topics on one meeting and on the another. So if you support the move, please let us know if you see a problem with that, or tell us.
Yeah, you're raising the hand.
Yes. In light of my next question or my next topic, I think for Pacific time, it will be really prohibitive to move it, because essentially it puts us in the 3 a.m. time slot. While I can master the courage and wake up at 5:30, 3:30 will become maybe a little bit more challenging in pushing it. And in light of my next topic, chances are we're probably going to run out of time, and I will have to wait in this flight next 2 weeks until we meet again here in this time slot. So I would prefer to stay, if possible, within current time slot.
Yeah.
Can you put into a comment, like which time zone you are? And
I'm in Pacific time zone, yes. So it's
Pacific
nearly
time,
11.
Pacific time zone. If it's Pacific time zone, it would be 2 a.m. right now.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I thought it was 2:30, but yeah.
12 after the move, right?
So it would be 12 a.m. after the move.
Oh,
yeah.
My bad. I miscalculated grossly, because I'm looking at the current schedule, and right now this one is.
So I think the Pacific time will be the only who will benefit from the move.
And look at me, I just completely sidetracked the whole thing. Yeah. Never mind, ignore it.
So actually, thank you so much, Dominic, actually, for bringing this up, because this was my request, and sorry for making any disturbing to your current working schedule. But it was so hard for me to wake up until 2 a.m. To attend the meeting. Basically, I like most of the time, I don't know what I'm saying, to be honest, at 2 a.m. So I'm totally fine having it 2 hours early or couple of hours late, like after that. So it's like 5 or 6 a.m. I can wake up early as well. So, and at the same time, please feel free to propose a new time for the like Pacific time or like North American time, because now it's at 10 a.m. our time. I think we can go a little bit like to like until 8 a.m. or something early, if this would benefit you as well. We are just trying to accommodate each other. We don't want it to spend our like our whole life just attending meetings. So thank you so much again for accommodating this, and please feel free to propose any new suggestion or any adjustment for North America as well.
Okay, we could consider that as well.
Yeah, we also have to check with the people from Asia how that change affects them, because we obviously don't have those people on this meeting. Okay, so I think this topic is closed now, so we can move to the last one. So default resource quota validation and usage tracking. So,
Yes, that's me.
Do you want to share the screen?
Not really. So unfortunately I do have a hard stop at 10:45, but I just want to kind of take this opportunity. Please take a look at this Google Doc, and I would love to get feedback. Just to quick context, its existing cap was specifically focused on the small subset of a problem, pods with pod scheduling gates. This one broadens up the scope to all pods. Nutshell TLDR view of this proposal is: today, a resource quota validation and usage tracking happens in admission time. When we create pod, we reject them flat out if they validate the quota. That creates several challenges. Thank you. And specifically, when it comes down to resource quota usage calculation, it calculates potential quota usage, not the actual usage. So it is possible today to have full namespace with pods that none of them is running due to pending nodes, health, unsatisfied affinities, taints, scheduling gates, yet you will have no available quota to run any other pod in your namespace. And I would love to get feedback both on premise of problem statement and on proposed solution. If you're interested, look in the prior art of the schedule gates. It was very good session in GitHub. There's a lot of valuable comments. I appreciate review from Masik and I got the gentleman name. It was very productive. So please take a look. That's all.
If I can just say quickly before you drop, we really need this for DRA. Like DRA is underspecified, so there's many different ways to satisfy it, and so it's almost impossible to enforce that quota time. And we have requirements like, hey, we want to set a quota for GPU memory use in the namespace. Like we just have we can't do that at admission time. We just can't.
Yeah. Thank you.
And glad to see people thinking about quota. I think just, I don't know if we've worked out, and so Ilya, sounds like you've thought quite a bit about quota. It'd be interesting to have your thoughts on how reservation should be quoted. So if you like make a reservation, can you hold those resources and block other people from using them for free forever? Or do you get some kind of discount? Or I don't know how that should work. Love to have thoughts in a future meeting or document on that.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Right. I have probably a similar comment. So we are thinking about how to make the workload binding with some guarantees, and actually considering a quota, whether it works for all the pods in a workload, should become a part of it. It would be undesired to bind only half of the pods and another half will not bind because there is no quota. So.
Okay, yeah, had to drop, so we can't continue this discussion now. So, do anyone have any other topic that would like to discuss, or should we end the meeting now? Okay, if we don't have more topics, thank you everyone for attending this meeting, and see you on the next ones and in the documents and caps and everything. Yeah. Have a nice day
Thank you.
or night. Thank
Bye.
you. Goodbye.
Thanks.